focus the camera. Alright, so it was a little warm up to the story. Let's tell. We put on not 40 Ounce of Freedom, not the self-titled. We put on Sublime's second album, Robin the Hood.
You did.
At your suggestion, and you said it's an underrated album. Now, tell us a little bit about just your personal experience with Robin the Hood. I mean, it's people don't talk about this one as much, you know?
Yeah, it was the thing. Like when it's like Sublime is one of those bands that like I always like, you know, like the singles since I was like a kid when they came out and shit, but like I just never like, you know what I mean, like fucking bought the albums or whatever like until I was like in my teens, and then I bought 40 Ounce first. I mean, so this is basically how I got into Sublime. Like I bought 40 Ounce, I was like, holy shit, like this album is fucking perfect, you know what I mean? Like because it was a band that I just listened to the singles, you know, for years before that, like but like yeah, like so like anyway, I got to the fucking point. It's like okay, I'm buying like everything that they fucking put out. You know what I mean? Because obviously this is like years after fucking Bradley passed. So so like everything that you know, the whole catalog is like you know complete. Just gotta go out and get it. So anyway, fucking when I fucking yeah, like when I first heard Robin the Hood, like I was like. Because like I was already familiar, because like basically like fucking like most songs from the self-titled, like even if it wasn't officially released as a single, like pretty much they've all been played on like fucking on radio, you know what I mean? And like, but so like I knew the self-titled. I forget if I bought the self-titled before or after Robin the Hood, but like I I knew 40 Ounce, like I knew the self-titled for the most part at least, you know what I mean? Fucking like Robin the Hood was like so different, and it just fucking the thing that really blew me away about it was that like it's the fucking I just fucking thought wow, ballsy move for a second album. That was my exact thought on it, and like I remember like when I said it, we both kind of said it at the same time because we were talking about it, and it's like yeah, exactly, because 40 Ounces to Freedom was fucking you know it's like their first fucking album, and it's like such a fucking loved fucking album, you know what I mean? Because it's a perfect album, but it's like just like very like accessible, you know what I mean? People from like all walks of fucking life and people who generally have like fucking, you know, different music tastes from one another, you know, that's kind of like a common ground album where like so many people with different types of tastes just love it and just love Sublime in general, but like 40 Ounce is just such a fucking classic and like I said, very accessible. It appeals to a very fucking wide audience, you know what I mean? So to follow it up with like an album like fucking Robin the Hood, which was fucking recorded like on a fucking 4-track and a fucking tweaker pad, like the tweaker pad that he talks about fucking in Garden Grove. I mean it's like that's like the house that they were living in when they made Robin the Hood. Like fucking like they were living in a fucking like a meth house, like fucking and basically just like crazy ass fucking shit like that, and they recorded this on like a 4-track, and it's like very like experimental, you know what I mean? Like you have like all these like little dubs and instrumentals, you know what I mean? Like cut in between songs, and you have like you know like a few songs that like have that like fucking you know classic fucking Sublime sound, and like you have some acoustic tracks, you know what I mean? It's like very, it's I don't know, it's just like a fucking really good album and just like very different, and it's like fucking crazy, like you know what I mean? How it was like that second album, and they followed up like such an accessible album with such a like different like experimental kind of album that is like excellent, but probably won't appeal to like nearly as many people as you know what I mean, as who fucking like 40 Ounce or the self-titled, you know what I mean? It's like basically this album is really for the real fucking like die-hard fucking like Sublime fans, you know what I mean? Not to say that like fucking that people who just like you know I don't know. Like it's one of those fucking albums that you just really have to be like fucking, you know what I mean? But I don't know, I was like, actually I don't know, fucking, maybe like fucking disregard the last few things I said because I don't even remember what train I'm on right now. I don't fucking like really know where I'm going with this, but yeah, just very different from the self-titled and 40 Ounce, and like, you know, the thing is, it's like when 40 Ounce came out, it wasn't really like the huge like mega smash fucking hit. Like I think they, you know, it was like originally like self-released and like they were like fucking like you know selling it themselves like out of that fucking like you know what I mean. But then like it was also I think like Skunk Records, but I forget the exact history on it, but it was like because I think they got picked up by MCA for the self-titled, and I think MCA reissued the you know what I mean like 40 Ounce and Robin the Hood and shit like or something like that. You know what I mean? But yeah, it was really when they really like blew up mainstream was when the self-titled came out. You know what I mean? It's like they were already like known, but like they weren't like the fucking phenomenon they became, which unfortunately really fucking, you know, Bradley kind of missed seeing that. He saw like a lot, you know, like they were playing some, you know, big shows and like doing like bigger tours, and you know what I mean, and having more and more success like towards the end of his life, you know what I mean? And you know, they got signed to the major label obviously, but he died before that album came out, you know what I mean? They finished recording that album and he died shortly thereafter, and like and fucking Sublime is obviously huge now and has been since then. You know what I mean? And he never really got to see it become what it became. That sucks.